Okay, so let's imagine that we have a car driving down the road. Okay, so we have a vehicle driving down the road and it's moving at a velocity of 65 miles per hour. Okay, and let's say the radius of the tire, so this is not the inner radius, but this is the radius to the outside of the tread, is 16.5 inches. Okay, and so I want to know if for this problem, what is the angular velocity? It's pretty straightforward. Angular velocity is going to be V over R, so that'd be 65 miles per hour divided by 16.5 inches. Well, obviously we need to convert 65 miles per hour into feet per second or inches per second. So what you do is we get miles per hour. Okay, so we know that an hour is 3,600 seconds. We know there's 5,280 feet in a mile, and we know that there's 12 inches in 1 foot. So hours cancel, miles cancel, feet cancel, and so this comes out to be 1144 inches per second. Okay. So now we just say omega is now going to be 1144 inches per second divided by 16.5 inches. So omega is going to be 69. So omega is 69.33 radians per second. Okay. Now, driving along, and over time you start wearing down the tread. So eventually the radius of your tire is going to be less. Now again, we're not talking about the size of the wheel, we're talking about the radius of the tire itself. So let's assume that we wear off 1/3 of an inch of tread. So we remove 1/3 of an inch of a tread. So that means that R is now going to be a little bit less. So R is now going to be 16.17 inches. Okay, so I want to know, your speedometer in your car does not actually measure the speed that the car is moving. The speedometer measures the rotation of your wheels. Okay, so the axis of rotation. So it measures that. Okay, and that's supposed to be related. The speed is supposed to be R times omega. Well, the R is defined by the tire you're supposed to put on the car. The manufacturer says that this car requires a certain kind of tire. And so if your tires are the wrong size, it's going to make a difference. Now, you start off with, tread of that, you wear down the tread, now you're wearing, these tires have worn out the tread, they're about ready to you need new tires because you've worn out all the tread. So, but how does that change the speed of the car? Well, the speed is going to be R omega, so that would now be 16.17 inches times the 69.33 radians per second. Now, if your tires are rotating at 69.33 radians per second, then the speedometer says 65 miles per hour. Okay, because it's calibrated that way. Okay, but what's actually happening is you're going 1121 inches per second. So if you do the math, convert that, that's 63.7 miles per hour. So the actual speed of the car is not going to necessarily be the speed that the speedometer reads. Okay, so if your tires are a little bit smaller than the manufacturer specifications, then that means that you're actually moving slower than the speedometer says. On the other hand, if you put on tires that have extra diameter, so in other words, the radius is bigger than the manufacturer specifications, that would have the exact opposite effect. That would mean you're going actually faster than the speedometer says. And so you occasionally see people and they customize their vehicles and they put special tires on there, and sometimes they put undersized tires or oversized tires. When you do that, that means your speedometer should technically be recalibrated for the size tire you've put on there. Okay. But even if you don't do that, even if you don't, go beyond, just the standard tire that's supposed to go in the vehicle, when the tire is brand new, then it's going to have a slightly different radius than if it's worn, simply because of the fact you've worn down the tread. And so that would make your speedometer off by a few percent. And so that's something to be aware of. They do occasionally have speedometer checks here and there, so that you know how fast you're really going, no matter what your speedometer in your car actually reads. So that is something you can check, now and then, just to see, if your speedometer is really reading right, and then how far off it is.